I am nearing the end of my Path of Exile story. Act 10 looms on the horizon as I am finishing my first playthrough of the entire story of this game. I have gone from an ultimate reflect damage mitigation god to a fast flaming time bomb, and it's only getting more intense. Even through all of this, I was not expecting the story of Path of Exile to be this damn good. So many twists and turns and just evolutions. It's gotten really good. But here in Act 9, I think is where I fell in love. And this is how it happened. So entering into the Highgate for the final act before we return to Oriath to kill Kitava. Yes, I know that we are going to have to kill Kitava again because, let's be serious, he's the big bad and we have to deal with him at some point. You don't just release an all-devouring god just to go on vacation to another land, an island, perhaps. After you let the world burn. Oh boy, that's not a good look. Anyway, I'm continuing my Burning Templar build to fight and deal with all the enemies coming my way. While I have maintained a fairly strong resistance pool, I have focused on gaining more HP and regeneration, with the eventual goal of giving Righteous Fire a good playthrough. I mean, come on, it's Righteous Fire. It looks awesome. Well, to do that, I need to max fire resistance as well as get a whole bunch of regeneration to maintain it. And doing that full time, I'm going to need to look to improve various aspects of that regeneration, which I technically can get quite a bit of value with some extra fire resist, as it still grants me health regeneration per second as I am building, but that's just something I'm going to have to keep an eye out for. Well, I'm working my way through the blood aqueducts, which seem to be just pouring with blood. Clever name, I guess. Well, it seems that all the blood from the beast that I killed in Act 4, or at least assist in killing, is just pouring out. It's leaking. I mean, if the beast was as big as the mountain, I think it's reasonable to believe that there are hundreds of gallons of blood just rushing through the surrounding areas. But whoever Grinding Gears hired to do all the plumbing work in this game was on point. Like, incredibly well done. Oh, right. I'm supposed to be killing monsters. Because my build focuses on fire damage and ignite, I have quite a bit of fire penetration rolled in there to deal with specifically these types of mobs who are burn proof, or burn resistant. As the main focus of my build is only really countered by these buggers, having the fire penetration just honestly makes them all melt with everything else. It's perfect. Well, I come across this group of mobs and one rare one named Doom Laugh. I love the randomly generated names in this game because it's like, ooh, Butt Sprinkles, the terror. However, don't let the name fool you. He can literally one-shot and rip your face off. Anyway, I am fighting this guy and he is absolutely blasting me, literally eating 30% of my health in a single hit, and I can't figure out why. Oh, right, he's empowered. So after starting my character in this League of Affliction going in blind, I didn't really bother to realize that as I am killing the mobs here in the Wildwood, I am empowering the mobs outside with all sorts of crazy affects. It seems like the Vivid Wisps make mobs take reduced damage, attack faster, and move faster, while Wild Wisps take less damage and throw out more projectiles, and Primal Wisps empower enemies and make them take less damage while also gaining critical strike chance and critical strike damage. Oh boy, and this mob is a lightning damage mob. Right, that makes sense. I'm low-key terrified at this combination, especially this early on. The damage spike is insane. And he actually catches me once. Oh, I'm pissed now. I come running back and slap the hell out of him, but like, damn, he was a beast. And he also drops a whole bunch of these mirrored items. I had to stop and read up about this, as apparently there are just identical items that drop at the same time, but they are flipped on the item screen. I'm guessing this is for later down the road if you wanted to change some of the modifiers on them, perhaps? Regardless, this is interesting because it seems like it's a part of the Strong Box League. I enter the Highgate, ready to deal with the bloody bosses, and oh look, more blood everywhere. Who saw that coming? Well, we greet Sin and he tells us we need to make a crazy potion to gain access to the beast because all the other entrances are closed. We need the Dark Ember, which is nestled somewhere down in there, which used to create the beast. Which this creature was actually helping humanity out by keeping the other gods asleep, so they couldn't fuck up everything else for us, which is more and more making me think that Sin really isn't all that bad of a guy. He just honestly wants to be left alone and allow humanity to do its thing. But it also appears that humans can't ascend to godhood, so that's kind of crappy, although I'm slaying gods right now and I'm holy. So our Lady Oyun, who was carefully placed next to our Gem Bay in Act 4, has been snatched up by Kira, another NPC from one of the previous acts who was corrupted. guys, I can't just go through and kill all the NPCs in this game. There ain't gonna be nobody left. Well, I visit the throne and I find the decaying body of our beautiful gem queen. Oh, she shall be missed. And now it's time to take action. I'm not gonna let my dead queen bee's honor be desecrated like that. I'm rushing around the mountains, and for the first time that I can remember, I get frozen. Legit frozen in place. Now, this was only for a second, but this is very, very, very concerning. Like, being frozen into inaction while a mass of enemies bash me down is not great. I'm gonna get smacked. I'll have to pay attention to this down the road because it could become a huge problem where only a few seconds will kill you. I also saw that one of the Brine King's extra effects can prevent freezing, which is something I think I'll need to look into. I open up another one of these abyss portal thingies, and it's actually going better for me. I understand what we're supposed to do here, and more specifically, how to handle it. Lots of kiting and screaming. But in trading for some jewels that seem to be related to one of your passive tree slots, there's like sockets that are all around that I think you can use them for. Well, after pretending to be lost in the mountains for a while, I take a lift down to the desert. Man, they just went like full Aladdin here. You remember Jafar threw him into a portal into the mountains and he was like all freezing? I have 3 daughters. I have to know the stuff. Well, anyway, going through the desert, I am finding tons of scorpions and mummies, but what's really funny is these little dinosaurs running around. And I legit laugh out loud because it makes me start humming the Jurassic Park theme song. So I kill a bunch of these and I come across the Immortal Syndicate. On research, it seems like this is just another League mechanic where you can periodically build these different syndicates up for safe houses and deal with syndicate members in the exchange for some really good rewards. I suppose the only thing that I will have to do is spend more time understanding this or have more experience here, like where the hell are they, how do I find them, and what are the rewards that I can get. But I do like that this game has implemented its previous League mechanics into other Affliction leagues, so if you had experience in them, you'll see them transfixed into future leagues, which is kind of fun. And it makes for a wild first playthrough. I make a change with my aura that specifically using Pride aura isn't getting as much of effect. As I've changed for a more focus on burning and fire damage, it doesn't make sense for me to do anything with a physical damage modifier. So I changed to the aura Anger and I instantly get a huge damage increase, just adding extra fire damage to my abilities. The fire build is just going crazy at this point. I absolutely love it. I find a windy knife and now I need to get some basilisk acid from, well, a basilisk, I guess. I help Ironheart with some beefy beasts, and I gotta say I love his voice lines. He may be my favorite extra character.
We will be best friends, beast, until we slaughter you.
Also, he just wrecks mobs all over the place. I can't tell if it's him or me doing most of the damage, but it's kind of crazy. I take on these weird birthing spider beasts that keep spawning copies of itself, because why? Why wouldn't it? Why wouldn't it do something weird like that? It's also spitting out tornadoes at me as I am bashing it to bits, and after I'm done, there's like a massacre, thousands of bodies strewn everywhere. I mean, look at all these dead bodies. Well, after dealing with the rest of the various mobs, I get into the boiling lake where the basilisk is. Okay, I gotta deal with lots of creatures here, but I have loved inadvertently how strong shield charge is. I'm not really focusing much on shield charge. I can literally just use the charge through entire mobs of enemies like no issue and deal tons of damage. I mean, I do want to use my Infernal Blow ability as I feel like it does most of my damage, but sometimes when I need to kite, it's just nice to rush through enemies without a sweat. Okay, so I'm looking for a scepter now instead of a mace. Scepters tend to do more elemental damage, which seems to be exactly where I am leaning, given that I am now a fire build, so yep, gotta do it. I'm looking for one, but no luck as of yet. Well, I find the basilisk, which despite me having max fire resistance, melts my health super duper hard. Like it's eating me alive, like I'm on fire like Ricky Bobby. Well, I defeat him and the Templar drops another interesting line.
I have truly become the heretic, dabbling in foul alchemy.
I hardly call that doing anything for a heretic. I mean, like, if he's ever been to a bar, he's probably mixed some things, but anyway. I get the bottled storm to go reveal the sandstorm that is lurking in the desert, because apparently there's another minor god there, so guess who's hunting for that sweet extra talent point, baby? Well, I skip, dash, and dive through the desert, scream at a wall of sand, and get into the new area called the Oasis. Now, I have to kill Shikari because she's an evil scorpion. Yeah, that adds up. What's interesting here is that I find the desert hideout, which I'm not going to lie, I love the idea of this, and I deserve a beachfront property after fighting all of this BS. I fight some dinosaur riders and move through the Oasis to get to the Forbidden Vault, which seems like it is tied to the Syndicate again. Another syndicate thingy. June the Veiled Master. Nothing else to do here, so I skiddly-do. Let's go fight a minor god or two. I enter the sandpit, and holy hell, it's a giant scorpion that's tail is a naked woman. First and foremost, this boss absolutely starts wrecking my face, but on top of that, the music for this fight is just so damn good. I mean, just listen to this. Well, honestly, she's putting a hurt on me while I'm killing all the scorpion babies that are popping out of the ground, so she's probably mad. I'm also getting this quicksand debuff that has me sinking into the pits. Holy hell, this is such a damn good fight. Lots of movements, quick actions, debuffs. This is what we needed. On top of ads spawning all over the place, it's just so damn cool. Well done, Triple G. Well, after a few minutes of dodging and dashing, we kill the scorpion, and Sin comes down and says,
Daughter!
I mean, what? His daughter is that malformed scorpion? Like, what the hell? This is wild. I mean, I suppose because he is a god, he could have produced an offspring. I mean, look at Zeus. But because she wanted more power, she came out into the desert only to be sucked up by a curse that turned her into that thing? Families are weird out here, man. Well, I am now progressing to the refinery to get the Trathen powder and also save Oyun from Kira because they are scum that all must be purged in holy fire. Grim. I finish up another Trial of Ascendancy to find out that I'm only one away from getting into another labyrinth, which will eventually get me Pious Path. Ooh, this is gonna be so good. You just know it is. I entered into the quarry to find this opening into the ground. It's kind of gross, not gonna lie. I still need to brew something that's gonna crack this thing open like a cold one with the boys on a Sunday afternoon, but that was very specific. On the south end of the quarry, I find the Shrine of the Winds, where I fight Garu Khan, the Queen of the Winds. Although she's not doing much damage-wise, this boss fight is actually really, really cool. Tons of different effects happening, Kira showing up in and out, other creatures spawning, wild tornadoes. While I'm able to, yes, eat most of this damage, and it kind of tickles, I have fairly little issue fighting this boss. I inadvertently kill Kira, but hey, she's corrupt anyway. I then realize this lady has 6 arms! What the hell? What in the Mortal Kombat is this? I kill her and Sin comes down to say,
My love.
My love. Wait, he was married to the 6-armed lady? What the hell? That means that the scorpion chick was actually the daughter of the Wind. Oof. I'd hate to be there for their Christmas parties. Oh man. I mean, let's be serious. It would be a bit of a kooky ancestry report if you ask me, but hey, you know, live your life. Well, I enter the refinery to find some powder, and I find this mess of baddie and creeps who just need the beatdown. Why wouldn't they? Especially this big tanky boy, General Addis, who is actually wrecking my face. The whole floor is exploding with periodic damage, and all of these Tesla coils are shooting offshoots of lightning. This is wild. He drops an amazing two-handed sword. Like, holy hell, look at that damage. It's such a big slicer, and I'm hard tempted to switch away from my mace specialties and go in with this two-handed glory.
Nice.
Such a great sword. I get a mastery point and pick up Arsonist, and the notable mastery that increases the damage with hits against ignited enemies. Since I already have a 75% chance to ignite per hit, I am now smacking super duper hard with essentially double fire damage. Oh boy, we're cooking now. Well, Sin uses the potion to open up the glory hole, and once again I get to enter this gross decaying body. Templar, lay down that sick line.
Into the heart of darkness, I tread once more.
I crashed through most of this crap without any real issue, literally using my shield charge to do a ton of work for me. I get into the rotten core and find this Val room, and after some careful smashing and breaking, I find this beautiful Val Molten Strike, which is oriented around fire damage that explodes with some extra effects. I mean, I'm down for this right now, but I'm not gonna lie, I don't know if it could be worth it over Infernal Blow. I'll have to probably test this in the future to see if it's worth it. I enter the Black Core where Malachi got the beat down by me, and apparently he rigged a trap so that those 3 annoying ass bosses that I've had to fight like 6 times are being regenerated. Again. This is getting obnoxious. Well, apparently I need to kill them again to fuse their bodies together to get the Dark Ember to come out of its hiding spot. I don't know. This is a whole hell of a lot of work for someone who regularly is in a loincloth and not wearing underwear. Into each dream I go. Dodre, Shavron, and Malagaro. Malagaro is first, and he is a little cakewalk with his misery area. The damage here is minimal at best. I'm able to bash and pop most of these enemies easy peasy. Then there's Malagaro's fight himself, which isn't really challenging, but he does put these exploding quills on the ground, which deal a ton of damage if you're standing on them. So after just some mild dodging and moving, no problem. Okay, one down, on to the other two. Shavron's room is not a problem really either. She's fairly easy to get to, but man, when you actually get to her, she hurts. She does this chain ball lightning thing that deals so much damage, it's actually not even funny. Like, I get roasted so damn fast, and I'm looking around because I have a lightning resistance debuff that is making me take increasing more damage anyway, and I'm thinking that the lightning damage here is also critically hitting, so, woof, this was a tough boss, not gonna lie. But we eventually get her down. Okay, Dodre is the most recent pain in the ass that I've had to deal with, and she wasn't really all that difficult. Translating that to her room leading up to her, it's not that difficult either. She has these totems on the ground that pop up and produce a constant affect, which is mildly annoying because they sometimes make me vulnerable. But because Mama didn't raise no B, I also open up this abyss portal while I have all these affects on me. So after trashing like 1,000 enemies, I get to the spirit of Dodre. I get to her and she really just does basic attacks and summons the monoliths that apply her debuffs, and it seems like they can stack. That's really about it. At a certain health percentage, she morphs and she supersizes herself, and then once she gets to 50%, she changes again and stands in the middle and starts screaming while summoning a bunch of these monoliths and dealing tons of damage to me. It's actually kind of a crazy fight, to say the least, but I kill her once again, and really it just feels like this meme at this point, honestly, with these three.
Stay down. Final warning.
Now they're all fused together, and they are called the Depraved Trinity. Enough is enough, folks. Just give it up. So I enter into this pit to fight the Depraved Trinity, and look at this ugly motherfucker. It has the Sundial Lady, the Artist, and our Chunky Monkey all in one, and now they're all using their strongest abilities from the 3 mini fights that we just did. Actually, I absolutely love this boss fight. This was another great one. There are so many mechanics that you have to dodge for. There's only so much room you can run around on. There's different phases. I mean, like, what more could you want? The intermission phases summon these unholy aberrations, which literally, like, slice through 20% of my HP per hit. It's a bit ridiculous. I was actually nervous here. Well, after about 2 minutes of dancing and kiting, I get to the end of the depraved one, and it's actually really good timing, too. I'm nearly running out of all my flasks. Like, it actually was a fairly close fight, but killed those 3 again. Good gracious, just stay down. Final warning.
Shit to us.
He said the thing!
We somehow roll out of the bowels of the beast to see the Roths sitting here, and Lily gives me nothing but sass. Like, I just killed a whole bunch of unholy creatures. But yeah, no, shit on me while I'm here too. Why not? Well, now we are hopping onto the boat one last time to head to Oriath to deal with the devouring god and put the campaign to an end. Let's talk about this act. So after changing my build in Act 8, I was expecting some things to be crazy hard, some things to truly surprise me, but man, this act was absolutely crazy with the story and how it evolved and where we have ended up. Like, legit, I was not expecting it to be this out of hand, and it is so damn cool. One thing that I noticed immediately is that for the most part, I'm on par with where I should be, I feel, as the story's progression. I needed to be at about the right DPS and tankiness to see the different phases of the boss fights, and also to be able to progress through the open world. What's interesting about this story act is that we see a bit more about Sin. Since Sin wasn't introduced in Act 4 the first time we were here, you really don't know that this man was the creation of the beast that Malachi was using. On top of that, in this act, you got to see that his daughter was corrupted by power and his ex-wife is insane. Like, this is some crazy stuff, and he's just chill as ever. Oh yeah, man, it's whatever. What can you do? Like, dude, your daughter is a scorpion. How can you be so damn chill? I've seen a significant slowing in my build's progress and leveling, but this is to be expected. I mean, I'm level 72 by the story's end, and I have about 30 more talent choices that I'll be able to get to, so my future choices are going to be more and more important. I do want to explore some of these maps that I've been getting and see what they are all about, as it seems like it's a favorite part of the endgame for most players here, and it's something that a lot of people are excited to see. We are here, the final act and the end of the Path of Exile story. Let's get to it. If you want to see the big change that I made in my build and how it changed everything within my progress through Path of Exile story, click this video here. Otherwise, Stay caffeinated, folks.